10 days to go. It is the 10th of January. This is the warning. 10 days from now, Donald Trump will raise his right hand, place his left on a Bible, and swear again the 35-word oath that he previously desecrated, becoming the first president in the union's history to shatter it like glass against concrete. Donald Trump would not tolerate the rejection of the American people, so he incited an insurrection, and his mob stormed the Capitol. And upon the hour of his ascension to the presidency, no doubt he will pardon them all. But maybe not. Who knows? Because for Trump, we are upon promise-breaking season. You see, the war he said he would end in 24 hours, well, now it's going to take 6 months.
I hope to have 6 months.
First 3 to 6
No,
months.
I hope long before 6 months. Look, Russia's losing a lot of young people, and so is Ukraine. And it should have never been started. That's a war that should have never happened. I guarantee you, if I were president, that war would have never happened.
The $2 trillion that Elon Musk was going to cut, well, now that's unrealistic.
We'll try for $2 trillion. I think that's like the best case outcome. But I do think that you kind of have to have some overage. I think if we try for $2 trillion, we've got a good shot at getting one.
Everywhere you look, it's smoke and mirrors, literally. And it's not just Trump. Let's look at the capitulant network ABC News, the one that got down on bended knee, the one forced by Disney CEO Bob Iger to capitulate, to make a donation of $15 million to Donald Trump's presidential library because George Stephanopoulos said something that was true, that Donald Trump is adjudicated as a rapist, according to the judge. There was no reason to settle, and yet settle they did. The reason is, it's not a news division, it's a show business arm of the Walt Disney Company. Here's David Muir, a Zoolander-type character, with the fire jacket custom-made, properly pinched. During the worst natural disaster in American history, the man who sits in the chair once occupied by Frank Reynolds and Peter Jennings is among the greatest posers in the country, another version of Donald Trump Jr. Look at me, look at me, look at me, which a few people did in Greenland, where Donald Trump Jr. went with Charlie Kirk and dragged up the bottom of the barrel, posing with drug addicts and criminals after giving them MAGA hats to fake back home the idea that there was some sort of grassroots uprising against Denmark, clamoring to be part of the Trumpian empire, as his dreams of manifest destiny in the 21st century tickle his ego and stroke his id in his lonely bed at Mar-a-Lago. Melania has been around much more. We've seen a lot of her. Do you know why? It's because Jeff Bezos has commissioned a $40 million documentary about Melania. Happy wife, happy life, as the old saying goes. I guess Jeff Bezos and Donald Trump had a bit of a chat, a tete-a-tete. Bezos shared with the Donald, "This is what I do to coo into the Lady Sanchez's ear, to keep her happy. What can I do to keep the Princess Melania smiling for you, Donald? And so, what could you give a woman who has it all but a documentary about her accomplishments, which are nothing, except, I suppose, pulling up Jackie Kennedy's rose garden?" 10 days to go, and the retribution will begin. But of course, you'd have to be blind to realize the retribution has already begun. The fires in California are the worst disaster in the history of America's largest state. And when it's all over, they will be the biggest natural disaster in American history. There are going to be recriminations aplenty. But let's be clear, when the President of the United States is calling the governor of the state in the earliest hours of the crisis, Governor News scum, he's rooting for chaos. He's rooting for failure. What type of sick person looks at the flames, appreciates this is the seventh largest economy in the world, and that the country cannot succeed with a burning California? Country cannot thrive without its economic engine firing on all cylinders. And yet, because the state voted against him, Donald Trump doesn't see it as worthy, as an important part of America. Instead, he sees enemies. And specifically, the geography that's burning, it is filled with the people who supported his opponents. So let it burn, right? 10 days from now, Donald Trump will be in the White House, and sitting behind the Resolute desk will be no friend of California, will be no friend of the almost 40 million people that live there, will be no friend of dissent, of the idea that in this country, you have a God-given right of conscience to decide what it is you believe, what it is you will take a stand for, what it is you will speak up for and against, and who and what it is you will get on your knees and pray to with humility. It seems that much of MAGA wishes to force that decision on all the rest of us, to make us bow down to their leader, to bow down to Trump, to inflict punishment and threats when it doesn't happen. And let's be clear, the malice is flowing like lava out of a volcano. The threats, they are boiling now. The hours are counting down. Donald Trump is about to be convicted of a felony. 10 days from now, he will be restored to power. The American people have made a life and death decision regarding the restoration of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to make the American people carry a heavier and heavier load. 2 years from now will be the first chance to get a say, to send a message by a vote. I have a feeling the country will want to say something, because 2 years from now, when we have an opportunity, what starts in 10 days, we're going to want to put a check on. And 2 years after that, we'll be standing at the exact place 4 years from now that we are in this instant. Will we be getting ready for President Vance? Or will this madness have been bought to heal? A few weeks back, Vivek Ramaswamy attacked America's culture and America's character. Judging by how the media covers what's going on in this country, one would think it's comprised of the Trump family, a couple of his aides, and Elon Musk. The reality is the United States is the most complex society in the history of the earth. 340 million people live in this country. And when you look in California, when you look at the young men and women with axes and shovels and hoses on their back, climbing up mountains towards the fires to save people's homes and their dreams and their livelihoods, let me suggest to Mr. Ramaswamy, there is nothing wrong with the American character, except for the disease represented by him and his MAGA brethren. This year is off to a terrible start. It's going to require forbearance, grit, toughness, stamina. The era of the performative clown is ending. The age of the feckless politician ending. What it will take to get out of this mess is people who can think and create and lead, not simply read off of glass screens.
I love to go off the teleprompter because it's so much more interesting, isn't it? Plus, you never know what's going to come out, so you say, with a teleprompter, you can't make a mistake.
The age of idiocy was a long time coming. Donald Trump got to the top of the hill and has planted his flag. He is in charge, and we will pay the price. In America, as Churchill pointed out, people get the government they deserve. And that extends beyond Donald Trump. And one need look no further than California, the city of Los Angeles, to have an appreciation that it goes deeper than Donald Trump. A lot of things are going to change in America. A lot of things are going to change in California. When that change comes, there will be opportunity for good and for bad. This is the constant story of America, and it is the work of the warning. Follow us. Join this community. We'll give it to you straight, never lie to you, never disrespect you, and I promise there's no clothespin in the back of my shirt or jacket, because what matters here are the words and the substance, not the puffery. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.